let's be totally clear. That is not how you get successful. They say like Kobe Bryant had a mentor, right? Kobe Bryant had a mentor. Hey, Kobe Bryant, the reason he's successful is not because his coach was so great. Sure, he might have had a good coach. The reason he became successful is because he put in hard work. A lot of these kids, they don't put in the work. They don't just go do the thing. That's the secret. The secret is that there's no secret. It's like losing weight. Everyone's trying to sell you a book that tells you it's not your fault you haven't lost weight before. It is your fault you haven't lost weight before. You didn't have the discipline to do it. Like everyone knows how to lose weight. No one loses weight because we don't have the discipline to do it. But rather than say that doesn't get any sales, because how are you going to sell discipline when it's something that you have to kind of like, that's an internal thing. Mm-hmm. So they don't sell discipline. What they sell is it's not your fault you haven't succeeded. You just don't have the right coach. You've had the wrong coaches this entire time. Mm-hmm. And what it does is not only do those people make a lot of money, they cripple their, quote, people that they're supposed to be helping, who are wondering, how do you succeed? And they're telling them the only way you succeed is with coaches. No, the way you succeed is by getting off this cycle of feeling like you need someone to help you. Someone's going to come and take your hand to success. It's not happening. That's not what's going to happen. You're going to have to find a way to be successful through grit, perseverance, and hard work. And yes, there's going to be a little education sprinkled in there, but the amount of education versus like just application and like basically putting in elbow grease, it's 99%, 99% hard work. 1%, maybe you were inspired by Graham Stephan or any of these, Tony Robbins, any of these guys, these self-help guys. Mm-hmm. That's really what it is. I maybe I shouldn't label Graham Stephan a self-help guy, but like these inspirational guys or these coaches or whatever.
I think do you think Tony Robbins fits into this category? I have mixed feelings on Tony Robbins.
Yeah, same here. I do.
I've read a bunch of his books. I really like what he does. I don't think he's one of these people that are spending tons of money on Google ads and Facebook ads trying to sell courses. I mean, listen, he is a guru. Like he is this guru type person. I mean, I think he charges like millions of dollars to like really rich people to coach them on things, right?
Yeah, listen, let me say that there is a place for coaches. It's just that the place is not really at the beginning of your trying something out. Like that's the funny thing is most people, when they look for the most help, is like at the very beginning. They go, hey, I just had some guys reach out to me recently. How do I start a YouTube channel? Well, there's no really magical solution. You start it and you try a bunch of things. No one can tell you what your genre is going to be. No one's going to be able to tell you your voice. Where a coach actually comes in handy, in my opinion, is when you get to an elite level, is when you want to min-max that, optimize that 10%, when you want to go to the next level and you just need help because you're putting in all the hours, but basically you don't have a way to see from a third party and see it sort of unbiasedly, like what your actual business model is. And you just need help going to the next level. I think coaches can be great for that. I think there's a real value to coaches. But everyone's a beginner's coach. Why? Everyone's taking you from 0 to 1 because that's where the money is. Because there's the most beginners. There's very few like people who need to go to that next level as an expert. And so that's why all of that stuff is high ticket. But the new beginner thing is you charge high ticket for selling to millions of beginners. And it's like, wait, it's not worth to a beginner who doesn't know anything about Amazon $2,500 to learn how to set up a store, or do basic product research, or set up or how to buy from Alibaba. Like these are all things that are available online for free. And if the person's not willing to put in that basic work to go find that out, they're probably not cut out for Amazon in the first place.
Right. I've noticed that when you're talking about YouTube, people asking you, how do I start a YouTube channel? That's another thing is people want to be experts before they start something. Like they want something to be perfect. Like I've had someone come to me and say, hey, I want to start a podcast or whatever. Can you send me an equipment list, please? Please send me my cameras and my microphones that I need. Like I know I need at least $10,000 to start this thing. And I'm like, dude, no, you need an iPhone. That's it, really.
Well, and you need a personality. Like you're missing the big things, which is like you need work, you need time in to know even what you're doing. You can have beautiful audio quality, you can have beautiful video quality, and no one will watch you because you do not have the skill to be a podcaster. You need to develop that basic foundation of work. And I think part of the problem is everyone goes through this school system that encourages dependence and like spoon-fed answers. and you're just taught, oh, this is the answer of the
Yeah.
test. There's one answer, and your teacher's going to tell it to you. That's not the way the real world works. There is no one answer for sure, and no one's going to feed it to you. If there was an easy answer, everyone would be successful.
You know who has a podcast with really good quality and really good camera angles is that guy, Brian Rose. And I noticed you've done a shitload of videos on that guy. I'll tell you what, when I first watched your first video about that yesterday, I had no idea. No clue.
Most people don't.
So give me, just for setup's sake, give me like a brief background on how you got interested in this guy.
Sure. So Brian Rose had a video that was taken off YouTube.
So he is, for people that don't know who he is the guy who has the YouTube channel called London Real.
Yeah, he does a bunch of great interviews. I actually like quite a lot of his guests. And I don't think he's even a bad interviewer.
He has a lot of legit guests come in.
Yeah, 100%. He's built up this real thing. But he had this thing that happened, at the start of COVID. I don't know what it was. Maybe he's just an opportunist. I don't know. But he had one video die, and he decides, okay, I'm going to do a crowdfunding thing, and I want to make a freedom platform, right? And
What do you mean when you say he had a video die?
Sorry, like YouTube took it down because it was basically saying COVID doesn't exist.
Okay, you're talking about the David Icke interview he did.
It was a David Icke interview.
David Icke's a conspiracy theorist who believes
who believes in reptilians. Yeah, exactly. And so YouTube's like, we're in the middle of a pandemic. We can't allow this on the site. I'm normally very much against deplatforming. That was one of those edge cases where I was like, this guy's literally saying, don't worry about COVID, go outside, you're fine. And it's like, this is not something to tell people when everyone's trying to pull together in social distance. But okay, everyone has their opinions. But what Brian Rose decides to do is he decides to crowdfund. So he starts one goal, and it's like $100,000 from his audience. And he realizes he reaches it in like less than 24 hours.
What?
So then he creates a stretch goal, and he goes, hey, I'm going to crowdfund a little bit more. Oh, $500,000. And he basically says, look, we're not going to crowdfund any more than this. This is it. $500,000. That's it. Hey. And then we're done. We're going to only fundraise for a very short time until the live stream. We just happen to raise a little bit more, but then we're done. So he raises the $500,000. The next day a video comes out. Hey, we need more money, guys. We need more. We need more. And he's grifting off of this idea of freedom. People love freedom. People love free speech. I love free speech. But then he says, give me money to protect your free speech. So then people pay him even more money. He gets $1 million from his followers, all from his followers. And I started to look at the fine print. And he'd make all these claims like this is a free platform, for the people. But when you look at what the conditions are, the freedom platform allows anyone on the platform that Brian Rose allows on the platform. And lets Brian Rose at any time delete things off the freedom platform that do not conform to his community guidelines. Now, tell me that that's not exactly what YouTube did to him. Right. So he gets mad because YouTube kicks him off for community guidelines, like violation, says this is unfair, this is against whatever, freedom, and then creates a freedom platform where he has community guidelines that says you'll be taken off at my discretion. And so I was like, oh, this is a huge scam. Let me call this out. And as I'm calling it out, he starts rolling out even more stretch goals. He goes, hey guys, we need now we've raised $1 million, but that's not enough. We need to raise even more. We need to raise $250,000 a month for the next 12 months.
So I saw, that's the same thing YouTube does. I saw a video where he was claiming that he was banned from like Dropbox, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, a whole slur of social media platforms. Oh yeah. And then I went on YouTube and I saw his channel was posting videos every day.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so he was YouTube's banning me, banning my free speech, and he's saying it on YouTube. It's hilarious. And he's saying, no, it's all this big free speech grift where he's saying, oh, I'm so censored, I'm so da-da-da-da. But really, he's still playing by the rules on YouTube while trying to gin up all this controversy so that he can basically reap the rewards. It's super bad faith. And I called him out on it. I said, look, you're lying to people. You said you were going to create your own platform, but really the streaming service was not, it was third party. He was like hiring it out, but trying to disguise the fact that he was not actually using his own software. He was talking about, I'm hiring all these developers, all this stuff. It's not true. Like a lot of the things he was saying just were lies, and he was using it to raise money. So I called him out. I said, look, this guy's lying to you guys. A he took a huge hit to his reputation for that because, of course, he was lying, and he never responded to me. He never replied to any of the things there. And then, he's still continuing to do that. It's unfortunate.
Now,
because he was a good podcaster.
What was the guy you were talking about who was his partner in the beginning, who he pissed off a bunch of people? Joey Diaz was ranting about him for something he did.
Oh, yeah. So his partner is this guy, Nick, and they started the podcast together. I can't get into it because there's some things that were just off the record, but basically Nick was
Oh, did you talk to him?
Zuckerberg. I can't say.
Okay.
Which I guess maybe says too much. But yeah. It basically, he got Zuckerberg from his own company by Brian. And there's just a bunch of shady things with Brian, and everyone that I've talked to about him, and a lot of people reached out. Let me say that, past and current employees reached out to me. They said, this guy's psycho. You got to say more about this guy because he's the biggest narcissist I've ever met in my life. The guy has a freaking painting of himself in one of his rooms. Who does that? He has a painting of himself, a gigantic painting, in his own office. Who? It's weird, dude.
Yeah, that's fucking weird. That's a red flag.
Everything you need to know.
If you walk into a room with somebody who has a painting of themselves on the wall, that doesn't tell you to run the fuck out of that room, then you deserve to be fucking scammed. Maybe that's true. Maybe you do. Maybe that is that needs to be your fucking icebreaker experience into getting scammed so you can actually be enlightened to this world of fake gurus.